Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. Today we are looking at Teamfight Tactics patch 49.16. So we have the attentive changes, and again I've gone onto the PBE, played a bunch of games and tried to track down all of the changes. There's no official list just yet or anything like that, so this is purely from my research basically. So I could have missed something. Some of these aren't in here, but a lot of them have changed, so we can cover those today. Let me know what you think of the changes down below. Like the video if you do, dislike it if you don't. But for now, we're going to jump into our first kind of synergy, which is Hextech. So Hextech is a brand new thing for 9.16. We have 4 new champions: Camille, Jace, Jinx, and Vi, which we'll get into in a second. But the actual Hextech synergy is really cool. I say cool, it's probably going to tilt a few people, but basically when combat begins, it temporarily disables nearby enemy items for 8 seconds. If you have 2 of them, it's within 1 hex. If you have 4 of them, it's within 2 hexes. And this literally means that it will shoot to one thing and then cover everything around it. In theory, it could disable an entire team just with the 2 Hextechs if you bunch everything together. So next patch, if you're against Hextech, you need to spread out. One thing that I noticed as well though that makes it better in my eyes, or worse I guess to play against, is that it seems to prioritize at least someone with an item on there already. It's not random in the sense that it could go for somebody that doesn't have one already. So if you stack everything onto one champion, all your items onto one, it will go onto that one and disable that person. If you have like 5 items on 5 different champions, you could only get hit by one of them, right? So basically, if you're against Hextech next patch, you have to spread out your items. Let's very quickly go into the new champions. If you're not that interested, I will include a timestamp down below that you can skip to the changes, I guess, for the current game, but these are obviously pretty big. So Camille is 1 cost. She is a Blade Master as well, and her ultimate means that she singles out an enemy, she deals a bunch of damage, and roots them for 4 to 6 seconds. It works a lot like Blitzcrank as well, where when she roots that person, everybody around, allies that can, they will focus down that target. So it's really good to just like completely remove a tank from the start of the fight. She does seem pretty cool. You'll see her a lot because she's 1 cost. She's new, obviously, and she has some pretty good synergy with Fiora and Shen, for example. So you can have 2 1 costs out there, a 2 cost, and suddenly you have your Blade Master active really early into the game. The next one is Jace. So he is 2 cost. He is a Hextech and he's a shapeshifter as well. So when you get to full mana, you activate your shapeshifting and you turn, you knock away an enemy in melee range with your hammer, you deal a bunch of damage, and you stun them for 2.5 to 6 seconds. That is actually insane. 2.5 stun. Yes, it's single target, but that's so good. And for 2 stars, 4.25 seconds. So after that, you then transform into a ranged attacker for 60 seconds. I'm gaining maximum attack speed for his next 3, 5, or 7 basic attacks. Again, as well, we're probably going to see a lot of this because he's 2 cost. He has really good synergy with Elise and with Nidalee as well. So you can actually run a very early shapeshifters, and on his own, he's actually pretty strong and provides some much needed crowd control for shapeshifters. Vi is our next one. 3 cost. She's a brawler as well, so very easy to slot into pretty much any meta build at the moment. Her ultimate is going to be charging down the furthest enemy, so locking down the furthest away from her, kind of like a Blitzcrank, except she dives towards them, knocking aside everybody in her way and dealing a bunch of damage. When she reaches that target that she's going for, she knocks them up for 2 to 3 seconds and deals the same magic damage again. At level 2, you're going to be dealing 400 to everybody you hit, and then 400 again to that target at the end. I would honestly say if you probably like Ludens or Morellos, especially, this is going to turn into like another version of Pike. Finally, then we have our epic one, which is Jinx, 4 cost and a gunslinger. Her ultimate is a bit different. It's a passive. So after her first takedown, she gains a bunch of attack speed. And then after her second takedown, she pulls out fish bones and she enhances her basic attacks. That deals a bunch of damage. 100, 225 probably is going to be the normal one at 2 costs. And that is going to deal bonus damage to the target and adjacent enemies as well. So basically rocket form. One thing that this really does, apart from being pretty insane anyway, if you buff her up with some attack speed because she has loads of damage anyway, she's a gunslinger. She can AoE those rockets down as well by attacking additional targets. You can also now have your 6 gunslinger bonus out there. Actually, same with the Vi, you can have the 6 brawler bonus, but with Jinx especially, it makes your gunslingers actually really good late game. So that's going to be our Hextech stuff, which is brand new for this patch. And now we're going to go into one of our other synergies, which is Demon. Demons are getting a full rework. So right now they have a chance on hit to deplete the target's current mana completely and then deal true damage equal to the mana depleted, right? It's a 20%, 35%, and then a 60% chance to mana burn in the first place. That is going to be completely different. The first thing is it's now a flat chance. No matter how many demons you have out there, it is a 40% chance to mana burn. You're only going to burn 30 mana though. 30 of the enemy's mana, not percentage, just a flat 30 and gain some mana yourself. The mana gain is actually what scales up with the more demons you have. So if you have 2, it's 15, 4, 30, and 6, you have 45 mana. This is actually really big for 2 reasons. So it's easier to play against, it's more balanced, which I think is pretty good. It's a 40% chance, so it still works pretty well, and it works a bit more like a Kassadin. Obviously not guaranteed, but it kind of reduces it rather than depleting it completely. But actually when you get to late game, like if you think a lot of these demons, they're going to be stealing mana and then using their ults a lot quicker. Wilds are last kind of synergy getting changed. This is actually very straightforward, just a buff. So the attack speed is now 12% instead of 10%. Wilds right now are not too strong, but I expect them to be a lot better right now because Ahri is really strong at the moment anyway. We have Nas, who's pretty good. Nidali is going to be better as well because of the shapeshifter coming in from Jace. So there are a lot of different things actually coming together in the same patch where I think Wilds are actually going to be pretty good and probably more of a viable strat early game and then transition into like that kind of Aurelion Soul carry later. So let's look at our items. These are pretty big as well, and some of the biggest stuff for the patch actually outside of those reworks. So the first thing is Hush, the silence item, which we probably never really see that much at the moment, is getting a rework. So at the moment, it's got basic attacks have a 50% chance to silence the target for 3 seconds. That's going to be changed now to attacks on hit have a chance to silence, but preventing the enemy from gaining mana for 4 seconds. So it doesn't actually stop the enemy casting or anything like that. It's a different version of silence where it just stops them gaining mana. It seems a little bit weird, but basically if a champion is at full mana anyway, as they get silenced, they're going to be able to still ult in fight. So it's a little bit less crappy to deal with, I guess, but it is back up to 4 seconds again. Next item is Redemption, getting a little bit of a buff. So right now it's on below crossing 25% health, heal all nearby allies for 1,000 health. The new version is going to be healing allies for 1,500 health, so 1,500. It's actually quite a big buff. It is kind of needed because right now it doesn't really do too much late game. It's really good early, but then it kind of falls off as you go through. And honestly, tiers are so important, and so are Giant's Belts for your Shivs and your Morellos. Speaking of Shiv, it's actually getting a nerf as well, so we'll go on to that. Right now, every third attack, it deals 90 magic damage to the target and 3 additional, right? So 4 targets. Now though, after this nerf, it's going to be every third attack deals 100 magic damage, which is actually better, but only to 3 enemies. It's not going to be too bad. It's 300 damage versus 360 damage. So it's like, it's not major, but it definitely sucks that it's only going to go onto 3 instead of spreading onto the 4. The main thing for me with this is that it's not going to be as good early game because you're going to have like 4 units out there normally, but in general as well, ranges should be worse now. Vi has that backline access, which is going to be really good. You've got Hextech to disable, like stacking on an Ashe or a Varus or something, and then the Shiv isn't even going to be as good. Next up, we have a buff to Infinity Edge. So remember, this is kind of like the replacement for Assassins not being as good. If you stick an Infinity Edge on an Assassin, it's actually nutty. Right now, crits deal 150% damage, and on the PvE, it's going to be 200% damage. So actually, it's going to be a pretty big change. If you stick this on a Draven, for example, if you stick this on a Zed, something like that, they're actually going to do a crazy amount of damage. Obviously, right now, your BF swords kind of go into GA all the time, but if you are running like an Imperial comp, this is going to be really good to stack on Draven. Loki is also getting a buff next to Infinity Edge as well. So this is basically pretty much the same. And from what I could tell on the PvE, the only difference is it doesn't just last the 4 seconds now. So basically either it's going to go back to no time restriction, or they haven't changed it properly on the PvE just yet, and it'll be another buff in some other way coming in a couple of days, because this patch is launching on Wednesday, by the way. We got 2 more changes here. So Ionic Spark is getting nerfed as well. It's going to be dealing 150 true damage right now on live servers, and it's going down to 125 on the PvE. I'm actually a little bit surprised about this because I don't see it a ton right now anyway. I think probably you're going to be using your items for something a little bit better, but basically it's going to do 25 less damage every single cast, and it does definitely add up over a 5, especially early game at least as well. But one of the most contested items right now is Guardian Angel. This is getting a bug fix, and it's really hard to test a bug fix on the PvE without Riot telling you what it actually is going to be. From what I could see, if I died with Guardian Angel, it didn't give me full mana, even though I hadn't used my ultimate like it does on live servers. One of the reasons you use it right now is because it guarantees an ultimate coming off of a champion like a Cho'Gath or a Sejuani if you GA them at the front and they die before their first cast. I don't think it's giving you mana anymore, so I think you revive with the same mana that you had previously to dying, and I think that is the bug fix. Finally, let's move into our champions. Now, a lot of these are really hard to track down, and some of them actually aren't on the PvE from what I can tell. If you know any of these changes, let us know down in the comment section. But we're going to start with Ahri, who the buff actually might be pulled before it goes to live servers. Ahri is really strong right now anyway. I see probably like 3 people running Ahri Wild Brawlers like every single game at the moment, so I doubt these are going to go through, but our attack speed is actually increased. It's going up to 0.6 from 0.55, and this is really good as well because the way they changed the game as well. So like your attack speed items are better on champions who have better attack speed stats in the first place. Katarina and Miss Fortune are also getting buffs in this patch, but I couldn't find anything about them. At least for the rank 1 right now, like the 1-star, there aren't any differences. It might mean their 2-star version is going up in health, for example. That could be the only thing. Otherwise, the change just isn't actually on there on the PvE right now. So Zed is the last of the buffed champions this patch, and again, his attack speed is just going up to 0.65 from 0.6. Zed right now is not that strong. Ninjas are not that great anyway. After the kind of rework, I haven't really seen them that much at all. If you stack a rapid fire cannon on him, for example, that's going to be better now. And if you shove an infinity edge on him as well, that would be even better and kind of be like a double buff, I guess, if that makes sense. It might actually make him a bit more viable. So let's move into our nerfs, and there's only one that I could find, and I'm not even sure this is actually going to be in the last game, because the only difference I could find was to Karthus, and he's going to silence people. This does not sound right, but right now, right, you channel for 3 seconds, you do a bunch of damage to a bunch of different enemies. Now that damage and the enemies are completely the same, but the wording on the ultimate is different. It now says that Karthus channels immediately silencing 5 random enemies, and then if the channel completes, he deals heavy damage to them. I honestly feel like this is either a bug, it's a rewording that wasn't supposed to happen, because this is definitely a buff if it can silence 5 random enemies. Maybe they're adjusting other stuff as well. I feel like this probably won't go through, but when we look at the others, Braum, Cho'Gath, and Kha'Zix, there just wasn't any difference on their 1-star version. Again, it might mean their 2-star is going to be different, or the change actually isn't on the PvE just yet, so we might have to wait a couple of days to find out what they're going to be. Those are all of the changes that I could track down on the PvE. I'm sorry I couldn't find some of these, especially for the champions, but I have to go into game and manually look through all of them because we don't have a way of tracking the TFT changes. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching until the very end. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. But for now, I will leave you with robots.